Without further ado, I would like to call upon Freddie Doctorow.
Cows outnumber the people 10 to 1 where I live. I live in the prairies in southern Alberta, Canada, about an hour north of Montana, just so you know where I live. So we don't have a big population base like you do in California. Our Toastmaster Club before COVID would hover between 20 and 24 members, and we met in person every Thursday morning. Well, our club has some very, very interesting and diverse people. And one day, one of our members, Jill Burnell, decided that she was going to move about 100 miles away, but she didn't want to leave our club. You see, there isn't an abundance of Toastmaster clubs in southern Alberta. There's some, but where Jill was moving to, there was not a club. And she said, I don't want to leave Toastmasters. Help me. What can you do? Well, we scratched our head and thought, well, there's got to be a way of connecting with Jill electronically. And so we tried. We tried FaceTime. Well, that didn't work very well. And we tried Skype, and that didn't work very well. We tried a couple of other things that weren't particularly successful. And it was interesting at our meeting because we hadn't even heard of hybrid, and yet we were trying it. We had a laptop computer that was sitting on a rotating cake stand. And as Jill would speak, we would rotate the computer around, the laptop around, so that she could hear us and see us, etc. We wanted her to feel included. What do you do before COVID when you have a member that leaves but feels so strongly about her commitment and engagement to the people in the club that she just doesn't want to give up? Well, you try. Let's fast forward to February 11th, 2020. It was our monthly club executive meeting, and we all know what was going on in the world early in 2020. And in our executive team, we had people that said, COVID, schmovid, it's just going to blow over. We had other people that said, no, we think it's a really big deal. We're going to have a strategy for it. And so what we did is we discussed what we were going to be doing. At that time, it was suggested that the shutdowns, at least in Canada, were only going to be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, etc. So we decided that because we were already connecting with Jill, it was time to get Zoom in the room for all of us. So our very next meeting, we were completely online. Wow, that was so cool. Because we'd had the little bit of experience connecting with Jill, going online for our club wasn't a huge step. And we loved it because now people were able to invite their friends and family members, their co-workers that didn't live in our immediate area. How cool was that? Well, in very short order, we had members from throughout Alberta. And Thursday morning at 7:00 a.m., they were on Zoom and we were having our meetings. Well, this worked so well that we couldn't hold them back. Pretty soon, we had members in 5 continents, 7 countries. We had members in Australia. They had to Zoom in at midnight. We had members in Central America, South America, different parts of the US of A. We had one member that was a digital nomad, and we never knew where she was going to pop up from. Can you imagine saying at the end of your Toastmaster meeting, well, I'm in Monaco right now, but I've got to go down because I get to sit in a sponsor's box at the F1 race. ooh, just a touch of jealousy. But we had members all over the world. This is how we grew our club from 21 to over 50 members. Now, in your success panel, it was amazing to listen to the presidents, talk about their clubs of 40 members, 50 members, etc. For us, the growth was such a challenge. And so there were members that said, 50, 54 members, that's just way too big. And there was other people that said, well, why don't we just split the club into two? We'll have 25 members in each meeting. And so at the end of the day, it was determined that our club was going to split. And after the dust settled, we were left in the low 20s, 22, 23, 24 members, which works really well for us. Now, one of the reasons that we choose to stay completely online is because where we live, we do not have the population base. There's 100,000 people. There's over 1 million cows. And last I checked, you can't have cows in Toastmasters. And we've got members from, again, around the world. We've got members in the US. We've got members that beam in from Denmark, from Africa, from South America. We get guests from around the world. And by the way, you all are invited too. And so we have chosen to stay completely online. Now, I know that there's thoughts that online isn't as good as in person, etc., etc. I have to confess that I love Zoom. I love online because I am here in southern Alberta connecting with you in California. Is that amazing? Yeah, you guys just saved yourself $1,500 US because you didn't have to fly me in. Is that great or what? As a professional speaker, I am bebopping around the world, zooming around the world quite often, and it works exceptionally well. But there's some tips and tricks that I'm going to share with you today. Right now, our club is sitting at about, I think it's 22 members, and we're signing up another 3 this week because we had people reach out and bring their friends to our meeting, and they said, oh my goodness sakes, it is such a great experience that we want to keep coming back. So what's the secret sauce? We just celebrated our 25th anniversary as a club last year. And we had a party, and it was great, and it was wonderful. And one of the founders is still a member of our club. Our members are our absolute treasures. We focus exclusively on the member. Every member can answer what's in it for me, because that is our complete and total exclusive focus. Because to us, our members matter. Nothing else matters. Our members matter. And when people feel that they matter the most to you, they're engaged, they're committed, they bring their friends, they bring their family, they show up. So what are some of the cool things that we get to do? Well, before I get there, this is our DCP, Distinguished Club, from the beginning of December. So we were already at 6 points, and we're definitely going to be getting to the 9 or 10. That's just not a problem. We're well on the way. In fact, in the last 20 years, for 19 of them, we have been a President's Distinguished Club, so we are successful. Once we were just the Distinguished Club. That was the year I was president, but don't tell anybody. So we are a successful club, and we do some things a little bit differently. And with respect, some of the things that I might say that work for us, you might disagree with. And that's okay, because you see, we have to do what works for us and our clubs. So I'm going to be sharing with you the secret sauce that has worked for Dynamically Speaking Toastmasters for 25 years. Number one, the meetings, the quality of the meeting. Have you ever been to a club meeting? Maybe you visited somewhere else. Maybe it was your club, but you've been to this meeting. At the end of it, you could hardly wait to leave because it wasn't inspiring. It went on and it just didn't engage you. Your meetings have to be top quality. Our members, we have awesome, awesome members. You know, the very first speech that was given on Zoom when we went to all Zoom was done by our Vice President of Public Relations. He delivered a speech from his shower with the water running. And if you want to watch that speech, you can go to our club website. It is right there on the front page. And you can see Braden Bennett in his shower giving a speech. The message to our members was, you can't do that in person. So what are some of the amazing, dynamic, cool things that we can do with Zoom? Let's play, let's get excited, let's have fun. So our members were engaged. And what about our mindset? We have a total commitment to being a successful club. And I'm going to talk about that as well. Essentially, there's 3 different kinds of meetings that we can have as Toastmaster clubs. We can have in-person meetings. And for the first 18 years, that's exactly what we did. And we had a very nice environment. Not everybody gets to have a nice professional environment. I'm kind of jealous of corporate clubs because if you get the boardroom and the technology, that's pretty nice. But you make the best of what you've got. I once attended a Toastmaster meeting that was in the teeny tiniest little boardroom that there wasn't even room for everybody to sit around the table, and they gave their speeches sitting down at their place at the table. Hardly inspiring. So your environment certainly needs to be warm and inviting so that people want to come back and they also want to bring their friends. The administration, you know, and we talked about it in our Vice President of Education training. And that is, you know, you need to have your forms and your name tags and all of the bits and bobs that make a successful meeting. That having somebody scrambling through the file folders in the middle of the meeting because you forgot something, it doesn't really give a good, well-organized appearance to either members or to guests. And engagement. I totally agree. I love meeting people in person, and it's much easier to engage in person. And having that break time where you can meet, or having the meeting after the meeting, or being able to applaud loudly or go, yeah, right on, to encourage one another, there's no question that in-person meetings allow you to have that very physical engagement. But what about Zoom meetings? A couple of things to really be cognizant of, and I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but your Zoom meeting has to be secure. Have you ever been to a Toastmaster meeting that got Zoom bombed? My gracious, right at the beginning of this whole COVID thing, I was invited to present at another club, and their meeting got Zoom bombed. It was awful. There was shouting and swearing and pornography, and nobody had control of the meeting. They did not have a host. They did not have a Zoom master. They did not have somebody keeping that meeting safe and secure. I'll tell you, I was just a little nervous the next time that I went online to a Zoom meeting. So the security aspect of it is important. Now, some clubs might be using a district Zoom account, which is fine, but you've got to get that host key so that you can get that meeting secured. Your Zoom meeting should be inviting. And again, I invite you to come to a dynamically speaking meeting. People start showing up at 6:30, yes, 6:30, my friends, in the morning, because we're chatting and we're engaging and we're trying things out and everything. By 10:02, we've got several people in the meeting. By 5:02, more and more people are there. And at 2 minutes to 7 a.m., our founding member, Ken, gives us 2 minutes of puns. And he's a great punster. And so that's the introduction to our meeting. Now, one of the things that I do in my non-Toastmaster life is that I train people in advanced facilitation skills. One of the reasons that we started doing that 2-minute pun master piece is because it gives folks a safe way to show up a little bit late, not encouraging them to be late, but life happens, right? Kids, dogs, spouses. And so that's the little safety zone. That's that 2-minute buffer piece that allows folks to sort of just sneak in late. And so we have that 2 minutes of puns, and then at 7 a.m., our Toastmaster launches the meeting, and it is 1 hour of tight leadership and learning and speaking and engaging. It is an amazing experience. In 1 hour, we have 2 speeches, 3 to 4 table topics, maybe a short business meeting, and we have introductions, etc. So we run it all in 1 hour. It is inviting, it is fun. Because you see, we're focused. Our agenda, we use Free Host Toast, and I know some of your clubs use it, but whatever you use, our agenda is posted 2, 3, sometimes 4 months in advance, so that folks can go on, our members go on, and they self-select the role that they want, oftentimes with the encouragement of their mentor, and I'll speak about that in just a moment. But our meeting agendas are filled 2, sometimes 3 weeks in advance. If there is a space, the Monday morning before the meeting, whoever has signed up for Toastmaster of the Day, they go onto the agenda and they take a look and say, oh my gosh, maybe this week we need a timer. So they will either connect directly with an individual or send a call out to the club saying, hey, we need a timer for Thursday. And by the end of the day, the role is filled. So we are very focused on our members being engaged, being part of it, and definitely showing their leadership in the role of Toastmaster. Now, hybrid meetings. We started with hybrid meetings and we were not good at it. We didn't have the technology. We didn't have the knowledge. But what we did is that we tried our best. Since then, we've learned a lot. The technology is important, absolutely. At a screaming bare minimum, having an iPad or an iPhone or a cell phone on each end of your table or your area, that's the screaming minimum. One of the challenges with hybrid meetings is how are you inclusive? How do you include those in person in the room? And remember to include those who are beaming in from afar. 2 weeks ago, I spoke to a Toastmaster district, and one of the challenges that they were having is that in this room, they had the technology at one end, but all of the members chose to sit at the other end. So those online couldn't hear them, couldn't see them, etc. So again, very strategically being inclusive is absolutely important. I believe that a hybrid meeting takes even more planning than a Zoom meeting or an online meeting or an in-person meeting. And again, it's because what you're looking at is both elements, the in-person as well as the online presence. So having it very well planned, having your agenda filled and everybody knowing their role, I think is important. And be creative. Any meeting, we can be very creative. But I think that with hybrid meetings, you can get even more creative because the people in person can do certain things, and yet the online people can do other things. Imagine if Braden gave his shower speech at a hybrid meeting. How cool would that be? So the quality of the meeting, I believe, is absolutely critical because that is going to be your make or break point, especially with guests. And what do we hear from many clubs, not just in your district or mine, but many clubs around the world? How do we get more members? How do we get more members? I believe that when a guest comes in through your doors, they are going to be struck positively or negatively by the experience. And they're going to be asking themselves, like, how did it feel for me to go to that Toastmaster meeting? Was it fun? Was it energetic? I mean, whatever methodology you use, whether it's in person, online, or hybrid, you can do wild and wacky stuff. Get creative with your table topics. Have a theme day. One day we had a wear your favorite cereal box on your head morning, because of course all we see is, from the chest up. We have social events. And there's lots of fun things you can do and bring that creative, wonderful energy. Everybody that's on this call today is a very creative individual. I know, because you're Toastmasters. So bring those creative juices into your planning for some of your meetings. People show up to learn, whether it's learning from somebody giving a speech, or whether it's learning from an educational presentation, or whether it's learning from somebody giving an exceptional evaluation, and so folks can learn how to evaluate and interact. There always has to be an educational component. Last week at our meeting, one of our newer members gave an amazing speech about resumes. She started with, the colorful word art resume that we all did in high school, and ended with an amazing tomato soup can resume. And she showed us how she did it. She didn't get the job, but her resume was amazing. What did we learn? We learned a lot of things about resumes from her speech. Do you feel supported? Do your members feel supported? Here's a secret. Right now, there are at least 5 members from my home club right here today Zooming in to support me. Our members never travel alone. If we've got folks that are speaking at another club or another district, there's always a minimum of one other person that goes with them to support them. In-person presentations, sometimes we load up a car and we all go off to the conference to support that individual. So do your members feel that level of support and engagement? That is one of the keys, I believe, to keeping people engaged and keeping your members in your club. Do they feel that level of support? And is it interesting? We've got some very interesting members. We have a doctor from Guadalajara, Mexico, that is working on his English. We've got engineers, we've got retired people, we've got graphic designers, we've got teachers, a whole bunch of coaches. We've got very, very interesting people, and they keep bringing their knowledge and their talents into their projects and speeches. It's absolutely amazing. So at your club meetings, how does it feel to be there? One of our members, Dana, is an amazing individual. She's a police officer and was looking for a high-performance leadership project. So she went, bing, we're doing these, online meetings. What if we were to do a camping meeting? So she put her team together, and we had a hybrid meeting where part of the group was camping in the beautiful Canadian Rockies, and part of the group was online from Colombia, from the US of A, from other parts of Canada. And if you want to read about it in the April Toastmasters magazine, Dana's article is featured about how she planned and delivered a hybrid camping meeting. Is that fun or what? Also, just so you know, Dana is famous for letting nothing stand in her way. Last year, she competed in the Tall Tales contest in our club in active labor and gave birth to her 4th child 3 hours later. These could be some of the contributing factors to why she was our Toastmaster of the Year last year. But put on your creative hats. Where can you have a meeting? What kind of juice can you put in the caboose to get your meeting exciting? You see, at Dynamically Speaking Toastmasters, our members matter the most, always. Absolutely always. And I believe that's one of the principal keys to the engagement that we have in our club. When people are interested in joining Dynamically Speaking, whether they're there as a guest or they're, reaching out to us outside of a meeting, because that happens as well, we want to know what their goals are. Just like you do at your clubs, I'm sure, is like, why Toastmasters? Why Toastmasters? Why now? Why you? We have people that have all kinds of goals. We had an engineer that needed to start giving community presentations, and he was scared skinny. So he joined Toastmasters and worked with his mentor, and pretty soon he was giving some of the best community engagement meetings ever, and he ended up getting a promotion and a raise out of it. We have people that wanted to write books. Right now, we've got 5 published authors in our club. People that wanted to do podcasts. We've got amazing podcasters. One of our members lives in Connecticut, Stephanie Ann Roy. She's on the call today. And her podcast is absolutely amazing, The Art of Entrepreneurial Teaching. We have 3 podcasters. Sometimes people want to become a paid professional speaker, and they need to know the steps. Right now, we have 5 people that are being paid to speak professionally. And they got their start, they got their impetus, they got their support through Toastmasters. What a wonderful message to send out to the world. So ask yourself, or your members, what is it that they want to achieve? Maybe they just want to be able to speak more clearly at family dinners. Maybe they're in business and they need to know how to really give good, effective feedback to their direct reports, to the people that are working with them. Maybe they want to write or to do podcasts, but what is it that they want to achieve? And based on their goal, why are they attending? Dr. Juan Carlos, he wanted to learn to speak better English because he needed to pass the Canadian medical exam. Okay, he's attending to speak better English. We can help him with that. People come because they want to give better presentations at work. We can help them with that. But we also need to be clear with people that are attending or wanting to join Toastmasters for the wrong reasons. For example, we had a lady about 5 years ago that came to our club that wanted to learn the secrets of real estate sales. She wanted real estate sales training. We didn't have anybody that could support or offer that to her. So what we did, because people matter most to us, is that we reached out into the community and we found a training program for her and referred her to it. She's not a Toastmaster, but she got what she was looking for. So is it okay if we are not the answer to send somebody in another direction and put them where it's going to be most effective for them? Yeah, I believe it is. What kind of support do they want? In our club, 100% of our members have a mentor, even me. I'm a DTM, I'm an accredited speaker, and I have 3 mentors. One of my mentors creates my amazing slides. Thank you, Tammy. One of my mentors is one of our newer members, and I love having a newer member as a mentor because it's like going for a walk with a child. They see things that you've forgotten to look for. So 100% of our members have a mentor. Now that mentor-mentee relationship looks different for each pairing because it depends on the level of support that the individual is looking for and needing. And we take a look and say, what kind of support can the club offer? See, with our mentorship, it's not always one-on-one. Sometimes we have what we call mentorship pods, where we might have one mentor that meets online with 3 or 4 people because they're working on a similar project. Or we might have two members or two mentors meet with one individual if they're working on something higher level. So our mentorship relationships are really quite organic. But as I said, 100% of our members do have a mentor assigned. And that happens the very minute that they sign on the line of their application form. You know, people say that when you go online, your relationships suffer. With respect, I totally disagree. I have met people all over the world, just like you have, that I never would have been able to cross paths with if everything was in person. You see, connection counts. And if you can use the technology to reach out to people, we use Zoom for our mentorship, for interviewing guests. We use it for reaching out and connecting. And if we can, we will go and do in-person things as well. But because of the dispersion and the diversity of our members, that's not always possible. Last year, I met some of our members in person for the very first time, and I had known them for 2 years because we'd been doing everything online. You see, technology is our friend. I don't believe that technology is that big bad bugaboo that makes it hard to connect with people. I believe, and this is my belief, that technology allows us to connect more, because I can have a coffee with somebody over Zoom. I can interview somebody that's interested in our club, because everybody gets interviewed before we sign them up as a member, just to make sure that they're in the right place, right time. And so technology really, really is helping us with our connection. In our club, it's everybody's role. Who invites guests? Everybody. Little catchphrase that we use is, if there is somebody that you like enough that you want them to have every success in life, bring them to Toastmasters. And so people do. And so that's how we get lots and lots of guests coming to our club. Now, because we meet at 7 a.m., which is dark 30, for some people it just doesn't work between jobs and children, etc., etc. And so we work to find them a Toastmaster club that is going to better match the time that they have available. Do we just say, hey, suck it up at 7 o'clock or nothing? No. We believe that if they've reached out, if they've been invited and they're interested enough, then we can help them to find the right environment. We're not going to build our club at the expense of other people's convenience. We're going to help them because members matter most. I mentioned about our mentorship program, and it's exceptionally strong. We have mentors mentoring mentors. We do pairing. We'll have an experienced mentor with a junior mentor so that they learn the skills. We have our members going through the Toastmaster mentorship program, and everybody's involved from the time that they're brand new Toastmasters to the time that they've been a member for 26 years. I strongly believe in the power of mentorship for not only building but maintaining a club. I do another presentation all about mentorship that I'd be happy to share with you sometime. What do you do with your members when they're successful? Wow, we have some amazingly successful members. But how do you get informed about it? Well, again, because of the connections and the relationships and the mentor network, we know when our folks are doing extraordinary things. We know when they're giving presentations. They share when they receive a lovely thank you note. We celebrate when our members win a club contest, win an area division district contest. Robin, the humorously speaking fellow there in the picture, he won the humorous speech contest at the area level before he'd even given his icebreaker speech. How did he do it? Through the support of his mentor and other people in the club. He said, yeah, that's what I want to do. Great. Buckle up, boy, because we're here to assist you to be successful. We are going to support you to success. And he was blown away at the level of success that he achieved. We celebrate everything, whether it's birthdays, whether it's anniversaries, whether it's going back to work after your maternity leave, and definitely any Toastmaster achievements are celebrated. So our members' successes are recognized and celebrated all the time. We had a group of members that worked on an amazing special project. And this was, again, a high-performance leadership, but it was done outside of Toastmasters. They were doing a fundraising event for a school in Africa that one of the people was connected to. And so 4 of our Toastmasters did amazing keynote addresses. Joelle was our moderator. They planned, they practiced, they delivered this amazing online event, and they raised thousands of dollars for this project in Africa. Yep, we celebrated that too. So what kind of special projects can your members get up to? And the sky is really the limit. Our Toastmasters do outside presentations as well. As I said, we've got 5 members that get paid for some of their professional presentations. So how does that happen? Well, we've got professional speakers in our club that will sit down and work with and coach and mentor folks to develop their keynote address or to develop their workshop so that they can deliver it to a paid professional audience. So whether it's at a conference or whether it's online, our outside presentations are fully supported. And as I said, members show up. We've got 5 dynamic folks here, right here today. A couple of them wanted to take your amazing club officer training, and it was great. Thank you for that. And some of them are just here to say, come on, Freddie, we're here. We've got your back. Is that awesome? That's awesome. So let's talk about club mindset. What is the mindset or the culture of your club? Club culture, wow. You know, whether it's a corporate club or an open club, it doesn't really matter. But think about, what is your culture? Our culture is that any topic can be discussed with respect. I know when I joined Toastmasters, or attempted to join Toastmasters years ago before this club, I was told I couldn't talk about sex, religion, or politics. In fact, when I gave my icebreaker, I was criticized because they disagreed with some of the things that I said. And my icebreaker that was about me. Whew, that was kind of harsh. Our club culture is the fact that we are open, we are supportive, we are very inclusive, and you may discuss any topic with respect. So we have had people that have run for local politics. They have practiced their speeches. We had a candidate for Miss Lethbridge come and give her speech. One of our members transitioned from being an engineer to a pastor. So as a pastor, he was able to practice some of his sermons with our club. So our club culture is very open, inclusive, supportive, understanding that everything will be done with respect. What are the expected norms? We expect that the Toastmaster of the day runs the meeting and that they will practice their leadership skills by going onto the agenda and making sure the roles are filled, etc. I have to say that one of my pet peeves is when I go to a Toastmaster meeting and I get invited to lots, and partway through the meeting or at the beginning or at the end, they're struggling to fill the roles, or they're trying to fill the roles for next meeting. Don't waste my time. The roles are expected to be filled by the next meeting. And we're learning leadership skills. So a Toastmaster, like if you're learning to lead corporate meetings, are you going to leave everything to the last minute? I don't think so. Sometimes clubs have difficult conversations. Anytime you've got more than one person in a room, you got the potential for a difficult conversation. And as I said, in our club, we can have difficult conversations because we know that we have ultimate respect for each other. And we often have challenges. We're a normal club doing some rather abnormal things, but we're people. We are a group of very diverse individuals that have come together with the idea of learning and supporting and leading and growing together. Are there sometimes challenges? Absolutely. But we've not yet found a challenge that we have not been able to successfully meet to an outcome that is mutually agreeable. And I'm going to talk about that as well. So what's the culture of your club? Do you think about it? Do you talk about it? What's your norm? You know, like, who are you? We call ourselves dynamically speaking because that's the energy we have. We're not insipidly speaking, we are dynamically speaking. And coming across any of us anywhere, you will see that dynamic. What do people say? Well, when people come to our club meetings or people come across us, they go like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe you have so much energy at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday. Like, how do you do that? Our member from Australia, it was midnight. She's like, after I go to the meeting, I can't sleep because I'm so jazzed up. And our guests, oh my gosh. So we have a 1 hour meeting, 1 hour and 2 minutes because of the puns. But at 8 a.m., our meeting ends. And some people are off to school, they're off to child care, they're off to work, etc. But we have what we call our tailgate after 8. So it's like standing around the back of the pickup truck. Remember, you know, I live where there's lots of cows. And we visit. We visit with our guests. We visit with each other. We catch up. This is our really strong time of connection. And our guests are absolutely included. We get their contact information. And we set up a time where somebody is going to Zoom with them and have a conversation, talk to them about Toastmasters, our club, and encourage them to join. What are some of the norms of behavior? What are the expectations of members? We expect our members to show up. We expect our members to, if they've got a role, to fulfill that role. If they are a mentor, we expect them to engage with their mentee. If they are the Toastmaster, we expect that they're going to have the meeting planned in advance. We expect that we are going to be mutually supportive of each other. That is just some of the expectations we have. We expect engagement. We expect folks to, you know, reach out outside of meetings to connect and engage with each other. And in our club, we are expected to care because we do. You know, in the last year, we had 5 deaths in our club. My gosh, our members rallied around to the individuals who are experiencing the loss in just such a powerful way. This year, we've got 2 babies coming. So how exciting is that? And yes, you can bet we will be caring and gathering around the new moms and dads as well. So what are the normal behaviors in your club? Sometimes you have to have a very difficult conversation. And our mantra is that we always praise in public, we critique in confidence. So if we've got a difficult conversation that we need to engage in, it is done in confidence with the individual. We don't air the dirty laundry for everybody because we believe in the importance of keeping the relationship with the individual. And a phrase there, a sentence that we often use is, when you blank, I felt blank. So this is a non-threatening. When you told me that I was waving my hands and you were being distracted, I felt really quite embarrassed because I didn't know I was doing that. Do you see how that feedback works? So that's that magic sentence that can help you to keep the relationship, to engage in difficult conversations, but to build each other up. Some clubs have challenges. Our club had a huge challenge. And one of the things that we didn't know was that there was Toastmaster International protocol to follow when we had a huge challenge. I would like to see this kind of training at club officer training. I'd like to see a presentation on it. I'd like to see it at area division and district training, because when the wheels come off the bus, it's horrible. So following TI protocol is very important because they have it there for us if you know to look for it. It's in Leadership Central, and there's governing documents for, whatever level the challenge is at, district, division, area, or club. I wish we would have known it before we did. And, Article 2, Section 6 tells you exactly what to do. And there's even a club disciplinary checklist. Wow, do I wish I would have known then what I learned and what I know now. So, leaders, I throw it out to you to maybe just have a look at that section and prepare yourself in the event of, not anticipating, but in the event of challenges coming to your club, area, division, or district, so that you know what to do and it doesn't cause so much angst. Well, what have I talked about? I've talked to that, math does matter. I mean, the Distinguished Club program, it does matter. Because what it is, it's a report card on the success that you have in supporting your members, including your executive team, etc. So the math does matter. But I believe that the quality of your meetings matters more, because if you look after the meeting, the math's going to look after itself. But the single most important thing is your members. Your members matter the most, because when you're looking after your members, they're bringing guests, they're becoming members. When you're looking after your members, they're experiencing success, and they're just filled with the love of Toastmasters. Because our members matter most, our meetings are exceptional, and guess what? The math tends to look after itself. See, the mindset, your club norm, it's just a guideline, right? It sets the parameters, but it's the dedication, the devotion, and the energy of every single one, not just the executive team, but every single member has the responsibility. How do you get guests to your club? Well, you do like I do. Here is your invitation. Now take your phone and scan that QR code. My friend Tammy is also putting the document into the chat. Scan the QR code. It will take you to our club website. On the front page, you'll get to watch the amazing Braden Bennett giving a speech from his shower. You'll be able to find out some more things about us. And if you go to the tab that says meeting information, our Zoom link is there. And so at 6:55 every Thursday morning, you'll be able to click on there and come on and join us in Southern Alberta at Dynamically Speaking for the best 1 hour of your week. You see, the cows might outnumber us 10-1, but the warmth, the inclusion, the energy, the relationships that are built by the humans are absolutely world class. And we invite you. Any meeting, you don't even have to let us know in advance. We invite you to come and spend a dynamic hour Thursday mornings with us. And we will be able to just tell you what we do. We'll show you what it's like to be dynamic. Over to you, Rukin.